Greetings and welcome to the Stoic Gamer podcast. My name's Michael Bolton. In this podcast, I talk to players at all different levels of the hobby about their experience going to competitive events, whether it's their first time or whether they're a seasoned old timer like myself. I discuss the events we're going to, I discuss the events we've been to, and I talk about everything from army building, rules queries, happenings on the table to hotel disasters and culinary and gastronomic accidents, all part of the hobby and all part of visiting different parts of the country and the world as part of our fantastic 40k hobby. If you like this kind of content and you want to hear more, please let me know. If it's on YouTube, please just leave something in the comments. I'll always get back to you if I can. And if you're listening on any other kind of platform such as Spotify, do leave me a message. I can get back. Greetings, Stoic Gamers. Michael Bolton here, fresh from a weekend of gaming at the International Team Tournament in Birmingham, held by the UKTC crowd. As always, really well organised, great event. Now, in my last podcast, I did say that this podcast was going to be about my misgivings about competitive play, where it's all gone wrong, and how semi-professionalism is spoiling the game for the rest of us. I recorded that. I listened to it and I thought, oh, hang on a minute. I better edit that because it came across as rather a rant, and I don't mean it to. I want to simply remind people that there are some issues that we need to deal with, and I want to make it clear where my position is, and not that I'm anti anything. I just want to point out some potholes in the road rather than to scream about the sky falling in and the world ending. So in the meantime, I'm thinking about that. It's squirreled away in my studio where at some point I will edit it and post it. But for now, what I wanted to talk about was the International Team Tournament in Birmingham that we've just returned from. There were a team of 5 for the Cold Steel Mercs. There was myself with Necrons. I made a list because I can hardly remember. There was Neil with Demons, Alex with Deathwatch, Craig with Alderi, Steve with Chaos Knights. If you were there, you can't have missed them. They were bright purple, and there were about 14 of them or 13 of them on a tray. There were lots of them. And me with my Necron list. I think it's fair to say that we didn't do as well as we'd have liked. We won 2 rounds out of 5. I took my list, which had done quite well at an RTT a couple of weeks before, but got absolutely battered. I only won 1 game out of 5, and I think I'd really rather let the team down, although I did score points in every game. I wasn't absolutely thrashed. We'll talk about that in a minute. What's happening is that in a few moments, I'm going to have a chat with Alex about his thoughts of the competition and what went on. But I must say, as always, the event was well organised. It used BCP, so all stats were captured. The venue was a massive sports hall with, well, everything you need. Tables were big enough. There was a bit of space for kit around them. Lunchtimes were adequate. There were 3 or 4 vending vans outside. As always, the food's a little bit overpriced, but that's what you expect when you have vending vans at an event like this. But overall, it was nice. I had jerk chicken on the Sunday, which was terrific, and some chips from a nice fish and chip shop on the Saturday. As a team, we had decided that we were going to stay for 3 nights, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because the last game didn't finish till about 20 past 8 or something like that. So even though we were sure we'd finish earlier than that, we wanted to have some socializing time. So if we was to stay Sunday night, we'd have finished by 4:30, go back to the hotel for a shave and a shower, and be out in the pub before 6 o'clock, and knowing that Bank Holiday Monday was ahead of us and we didn't have to get up the following day. So that's our plan. And that went really well. That worked really, really well. Although only 3 of us managed to turn up for the event because one person had to go home and the other person didn't feel great. So only 3 of us went out. But then we had a mystery visit from an old 40k player who's given up the hobby but likes to join us for a few beers. So Ian turned up and got quite excited by the tournament and started to wish he hadn't sold all his models. But then after a few drinks, he became sensible again and realised that he'd made the right decision when he sold everything. So without further ado, let's listen to what Alex and I had to say about the International Team Tournament in Birmingham in May 2024. Here with Alex after returning from a triumphant weekend at the International Team Tournaments at Birmingham. When I say triumphant, my definition of triumphant may not be the same as yours. I only won 1 game. But we're going to talk about all of the tragedy and the triumph over the next sort of 40 minutes or so. So I have with me one of my friend Alex, who was at the event with me on my team, on the Cold Steel Mercs team. Say hello, Alex.
Hello, Alex.
Fantastic. He's on point today. So we're just going to have a quick chat about how we decided on our lists, which factions the 5 of us took, and then we're going to quickly go through the games that we played really quickly because we're not getting into the nitty-gritty of this, and then perhaps talk about some of the learnings that we've brought away from the event. First thing was then, before the event, this is months ago we booked this, and it was a big event. For those of you who don't know, there were, how many teams were there, Alex? Can you remember?
70, I think we started at 75 maybe.
Right, so over 325 players in it. It was a big event, event. Well organised as always. Zach does a good job organising it. The train was fine. It was what you expect. We booked a hotel that was 10 minutes walking distance away at the most, which was pretty good. Although we drove every day because the weather was rubbish.
Yeah.
And then we turned up on the first day. We had a new policy of staying 3 nights. So Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I didn't go the first night, but I was there Saturday and Sunday. Steve, who is one of our other players, went on the Friday, but left on the Sunday. So between us, we sort of had a bit of a social on the Sunday, had a couple of drinks on a Saturday night, but generally we were a bit knackered because it was a long day. But let's get back to the gaming. I took my Necrons. I took Hypercrypt, Legion, whatever it was. The Hypercrypt one, the uppy downy, move things around. And I, despite all the advice from everybody, I still took 2 monoliths, the Silent King, totaling a grand total of about 1,100 or 1,200 points between the 3 models. I now realise the error of my ways. But it was good fun, and I won the last game. What do I want to talk about? Alex, tell us about your first game, and then I'll tell you about my first game. What list did you bring? What did you fight?
So I brought Deathwatch. And of the, I think there were over 400 players. And I want you to guess how many other Deathwatch players there were.
Me!
Go. How many?
1.
Other Deathwatch players? No.
Oh, none.
Literally flying the Deathwatch flag solo at the biggest team event in the UK. Interesting.
Did they have a best in faction prize?
No. Oh, if they did, I had no idea. That was more interesting getting to the pub on the Sunday than picking up some Tin Pot prize for. So I took Deathwatch. It was actually back to my original list, really, because my original list went up in points when they put the points up for the Inceptors and the Aggressors. And then the latest round of points, they brought some of the support units down again, like the Assault Intercessors with jump packs.
Yeah.
So actually, I went back to my original list, which I was quite pleased with. So I took that.
Tell the listener roughly what was in it, just real quick.
There was no Deathwatch.
No, of course not. Just the Deathwatch stratagems and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So it uses the Black Spear detachment, and then we've got a captain with the tome. So once per game, I can double oath, and I get reroll hits and wounds against both the oath targets.
Before you go any further, Alex, for those of you who don't know, what is the
Yep.
detachment rule for the Black Spear shenanigans?
So Black Spear detachment rule, you have 3 doctrines that you can pick from once per game. You've got army-wide precision, shooting in combat, lasts until the start of your next command phase. You've got army-wide lethal hits and army-wide sustained hits 1. So
Great. And that's on top of the normal oath for the Space Marine faction.
Yeah. So it's pretty shooty. It's pretty punchy, and it's got a bit of tricksy with the up and down strat and the special ammo. If you want to load up your special shells, then you can do that. But I think it's pretty good, but obviously no one else does.
No, I don't know why that is. I think it's good because it always beats me. But there you go. That's what happens.
Well,
so what else was in it? So you've got some.
Yeah, it's got the captain. I've got the apothecary with the enhancement that gives me deep strike and rapid ingress of 3. So they both join a squad of aggressors. Got some dev sense. A big unit in bolter inceptors, so I can use the special ammo. 2 units of 3 inceptors, so I can do some deep strikey stuff. 10 hell blasters, because they're kind of useful, especially you pick them up, put them down, just shoot, and if they're going to die, who cares? 5 infiltrators, 5 henchmen, 5 assault intercessors with jump packs. 6 eradicators. I feel like that's everything, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. Right. Now, just to remind me, are the hell blasters? Is the picky uppy putty downy a Death Watch strat?
Yeah. So 1 CP at the end of your turn, I can pick a unit up, and it has to come down next turn. Teleports in anywhere on the table, 9 inches away.
I like it. And they shoot when they're dead, don't they?
They do. So if you kill them on a 3+, they shoot back at you. If they kill themselves by dialing up the old hazardous button, on 3+, they get to shoot again in some frenzy of. You tend to get a lot of shots from them one way or the other.
At -3 AP.
Yeah, if you go hazardous, they're -3, 2 damage.
Well, why wouldn't you go hazardous? Because you don't mind if you die because you're going to shoot again.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only time I didn't go hazardous was in the last game when I was shooting a Custodes sister squad because there was literally no benefit.
None at all. Might as well save some lives. All right, so so we all turn up on the with that list. My army, by the way, dear listener, is Necrons, 2 monoliths, Thousand Sun, and the Deceiver, because he's a lot cheaper than the Nightbringer now, and frankly, he's not so bad. He gets a flat 8 attacks hitting on 2s, -3 AP and a flat 3 damage, which is no good against vehicles with toughness 9, but against a lot of infantry with 3 wounds, he's going to be punching them off the table. And I kind of like that reliability. And he's also got stealth, which means that if you deep strike him in a corner, he survives a lot longer than the other Catans. So he's all right, and he's a lot cheaper. So what else was in it? A Hexmark Destroyer, 2 units of Death Marks, 2 units of Flayed Ones, and a unit of Tomb Blades. That's it. What did I like about the army? The amount of shooting you can get out of a monolith with the Silent King next to him, re-rolling 1s to hit, is horrendous. Nobody liked that. And in one of the games I'll tell you about later, a great big gribbly monster turned up from deep strike 9 inches behind me, and my monolith barely batted an eye as it shot it to death. It was horrendous. Honestly, how many wounds are you going to save? 28. Really? Yes, excellent. Have you got any feel no pain? Yes. Well, you're going to have to roll a lot of dice for this one then.
You're going to need it.
Right. All right. So, do you want to start with the first game? Just a quick run through, 5 minutes, or do you want me to?
Sure. Yeah. So, my first game is somehow got paired into Eldar.
Oh, there's another thing. Sorry, listener. Do you want to explain how teams work and how you end up with whoever you're fighting?
Yeah, sure. So, your team captain at the start of the round, you pick an army to put forward, face down. So both teams put an army face down, flip them over, and then you see, okay, well, so they've put forward, I don't know, orcs and necrons or something. Orcs. You go, well, we're going to pick 2 armies to put against that army, and then they get to choose. So they put 1 down, we put 2 against it, They get to pick which one they want to play. Same happens for us. Back into the pot. You do the same again, and then whoever's left just gets paired at the end.
Yeah. So it gives a team a little bit of. We might be able to avoid fighting that army, but we're going to end up fighting that one. Or, there's two armies here we could pick from. So for that army...
Yeah, and I suppose especially at the end, you've got the chance to... Because if you pick one, then your buddy who's not been put forward, who's still hanging around at the back, is going to play what's left. So you can go... You have the opportunity to go, well, I might be slightly worse into this army, but it gives my buddy a much better game into this army, which from a team perspective gives us more points overall. So...
Yeah, which is what we're after, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right, so that's how the team pairings works, dear listener. Now Alex is going to tell you a little bit about his first game, but I'll tell you about mine after that, and it won't take very long. So that'll be.
Yeah. So my first game, I got paired into Eldar, which even though they've been through several rounds of what should we call it, tweaking, nerfing. Still bring me out in a cold sweat. I just, hey.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Honestly. But yeah, no, so I played a guy. What were they called? They were called Low Expectations.
Low Expectations, that team,
we had to laugh because Low Expectations, they've probably taken 5 of the best 8 armies in the game. So
no, but this is something we're going to touch on later, I think, because when I look at the team, the army selections, it didn't matter whether you're on table 1 or table 35.
Yeah, 100%.
Because the army lists were the lists were virtually the same. If you've taken a Canoptic Court Necron army, which I'm familiar with, then they were all the same. If you've taken, well, I was going to say Death Watch, but nobody else has taken a Death Watch. if you've taken, I don't know, what's another one of the typical lists? Custodes. Take Custodes list, you know what's going to be in it. The only difference is you might have a tank in one, but generally speaking, it's going to be 5 or 6 5-man squads of really impossible to move guys. You know who it is. What else was there that you could almost... Grey Knights.
Yeah, Grey Knights, Orcs, Eldar, Necrons. Tau showed up quite a lot.
They did. I mean, and for me, what it suggests is that there's... we moan about this all the time, but at the end of the day, if everybody's using similar lists... We started winning when we got to the last 2 games, and we're playing ostensibly worse players. And so I'm thinking that it's nothing to do with the lists we take, really. If we took the same kind of list as everybody else, it's all about it comes down to skill. And I think that's the issue.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I suppose touch on that in game 3 because that's an interesting one. But
yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, mate. Tell us about your game. I'm keep digressing. I'm like blooming excited.
Yeah. Go on. So game 1 paired into Eldar. Yay! Woo! Brilliant. Thanks, Neil. So it's not ideal, but I've got a lot of firepower. I've got some movement of my own, not as much as an Eldar army, obviously. Lovely guy, Sebastian, I think it was called. There was a group of lads from Manchester, although he was actually from South Africa. But yeah, really good fun game, and it was super close all the way through it. I think I played pretty well, actually, I have to say. In the end, it was 74-75.
Oh God, that is close.
Which, in terms of the teams, is a draw. So if you finish within 5 points of each other, the match is a draw.
So that's 10 each team points, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I was pretty happy to come out of that with 10 points because I think Marines have historically always kind of struggled into Eldar.
Yeah.
Eldar seem a good anti-Marine army.
What did he have in it?
What did he have
in particular? Yeah, anything in particular that was doing the job on you or was really worrying?
Well, kind of everything. I mean, so Neil said to me, "Oh, how did you lose against that, or how did you not beat that?" Because there's nothing in it really. The problem is it's not got a huge volume of stuff, and there's nothing in it that by itself is mega nasty. Everything is just so consistent.
Yeah.
What with their detachment ability and their fate dice, and maybe a CP reroll if they need it. It's like, right, well, I've got 2 Bright Land shots into your Gravis Marines, Oh, I missed one. I'll re-roll that. Right, 2 wounds. Yeah, two
Yeah.
wounds. Okay, you failed 2. That's 2 dead. Next tank, I'll do the same again. Oh, I've hit with 2. I failed to wound with 1. I'll just re-roll that because I can. Or I need to do a minimum of 3 damage. Well, I'll just use 1 fate dice and that kills it. So it just everything hits in wounds and hurts. So there wasn't like anything in there that was mega destructive. You know, like the old Wraith Knights. You know, you used to look at Wraith Knight and go, God, that's going to do about 40 mortal wounds and just annihilate whatever it touches.
Yeah, it's a consistency.
That army was super consistent, like super reliable.
And the army rule is re-roll 1 hit, wound, or damage, isn't it, or something like that every turn?
And it's like the old Master Artisans for Space Marines. Yeah. So it's, but of course they fire 2 shots with a high-powered weapon. Well, you're probably going to get hit, and then you re-roll the miss, and then you're probably going to get at least the wound, so you re-roll the wound.
Always get 2.
Yeah. And then, okay, well, can you make 2 6+ saves? No. Okay, well, that's 2 dead.
Yeah.
And it's just, you just get ground down. Combined with their mobility, which makes it super hard to actually, it's okay going, stay out of line of sight, stay in ruins and stuff, but they can be almost where they want, really. They're so fast.
Yeah. I get it. Well, I'll talk about mine real quickly. I can't even remember the score, but I lost. And to this day, I don't know how I lost, to be honest.
What were you playing?
Votan.
Of course, yes.
He had 5 Sagators, the little transports. No big tanks, 5 Sagators, packed full of berserks and shenanigans. He had a deep striking unit of the little mini Terminators with more guns than you can shake a stick at. The ones with plasma and grenade launchers.
Yeah.
And then he had a unit, 2 units of the Pioneers, the bikes, the ones that can come off the table and come back again if they're within 6 inches of a table edge.
Yeah.
And then he had some, I've never seen them before, but they were devastating against my guys. They had Chthonian Thunderkin, and they got big guns.
They're the ones with the grav cannon equivalent.
Yeah, they're anti-vehicle or anti-fly 2.
Anti-vehicle 2+, yeah.
Yeah. Hideous.
Yep.
Anyway. And he had a unit of those. Anyway, first turn, I go first. And he's by mistake, left 2 Sagators that I can shoot. So I kill them. So there's 2 dead on turn 1. There's 2 more dead on turn 2 because I'm just bouncing around with the Silent King and and one of the monoliths, just going, hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s, or hitting on 2s. How much damage? Flat 6, in your face. And I'm getting, this is going all right. I'm okay. And as the game went on, I just wasn't scoring points. I just couldn't get onto the objectives to score points because you can't put the monoliths on them because there's not enough room to put them on there. And I can't get, if he's put something on there first, I just can't get on it unless I kill it. And I haven't got anything to dig bits of infantry out from terrain because I just don't. So that was, as long as he screens me out from behind him, I just couldn't get him out. So he ended up racking up a victory against me. Those Thunderkin killed a deep striking monolith in 1 round without even batting an eyelid when I was on the last turn when I was trying desperately to score some extra points.
Gosh.
But I don't know how I lost it, but I did. And I was really upset. And dear listener, this guy, Jack, lovely bloke, went on to fight another Hypercrypt Necrons in the second round and lost 20-0. So I can only put it down to my complete lack of skill. There's no other explanation for it. And I was devastated. But the next game, I had more fun. Even though I lost that one as well. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, we lost that round, didn't we? So the first round we
lost the first round. We got 38. I've made a note of this, Alex. We got 38 points in the first round. And we needed
51 to win the round.
51 to win the round. And we got 38.
What's amusing is obviously, so most of us were there on Friday. So we were sat in the bar Friday night and we mocked out the pairings. And whichever way we cut it, our team leader, our coach, penciled us in for a win. Whereas I was slightly more pessimistic and went, I think that's going to be a tough. Whichever way we cut it, I think that's a tough round for us.
I think I should have won that game. I've thought about it, and I just do not know
What was the score?
Well, oh, I can't remember. I'd have to, have you? Can you look it up? Have you got it there?
No, I've only got mine. It was about 16-4, so it was quite a big...
It was 16-4, yeah. That's right. It was 16-4. So I scored some points, but it was all because I did all the right things. I killed his pioneers because I don't want those bites arriving on the table edge, scoring behind enemy lines and scoring points. Done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did he go for fixed? He might have gone for fixed.
I think he did, actually. I think I remember you saying that. Yeah.
He did. He went for deploy and was it behind enemy lines or engage in all fronts? One of those. But I just couldn't get his little guys off. He beat me on primaries, and I couldn't get his guys off the primary objectives, and that was a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, round 2. What'd you get?
Round two. Well, round 2 we played GW Boys, didn't we?
Well, I didn't know that until later on the Sunday. Nobody bothered to tell me anything. I just played away. So
round 2 with the So I played the guy who wrote the Chaos Space Marine Codex, I believe.
The new one.
Yeah. And whoever was next to me was playing like his boss. So it was a team of like I think most of them worked in the rules department, which was interesting.
Yeah.
We had some good conversations, but as a game, so the guy I played was using the Vanguard Marines, Ultramarines, and using the Vanguard detachment.
Yeah.
And it was only his second game with them.
Okay.
So I was kind of thinking, hey,
you got this. You got this, Alex. You got this.
And of course, he works in the rules team, so he won't know what he's doing, right?
Everybody would agree with you so far.
Yeah. However, no, we had it was such a good game. Really, really enjoyed it. Played in the right way. Even right up to the end, where we were going, well, if we do this, if you do this, and you do this, and he went, don't forget you can only get 6 more points from primary. I was like, yeah, okay. In that case, I need to do this. And so in the end, we drew.
Again, that's 2 really close games.
86-88.
No.
It was so close. And yeah, it was really good. I mean, I'm going to be honest here. I have to say, so my army on its go turn can do
kill anything.
A hell of a lot of damage. And there was a bit of me thinking, if I do too well here, this guy's going to
nerf this.
Boys, I think we need to look at this combo. So I was like, do I just go, oh, I'm only going to bring 1 unit in. Oh, look, I'm
no. Do you know what? And I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, you've got these guys aren't stupid, and they're going to look at the meta and go, well, there's no point in nerf. Even if it's a good combination, there's no point in nerfing because no bugger's taking them anyway, so it makes no difference.
On the meta watch, let's look at Death Watch stats. We've had 5 games.
Yes,
Alex,
I'm afraid there's not enough data there to make a sensible decision.
No, we've just got one idiot from nothing and playing them.
That's a really close game.
I would say it was my best. It was the best game of the weekend for me. Really enjoyed it. Really tactical. Although it was his second game, he obviously knew what he's doing. He wasn't just some numpty, which obviously, which is why he's managed to get 88 points. Yeah. Actually, I quite liked his list. Actually, I was quite like, ooh.
Have you thought about it? Well, actually, that's the second one you've told me about because you like the Space Wolf list you fight later as well.
Yes. Didn't like playing against it, but yes.
No, but you like the list. Well, I had Ivan, big guy with biceps bigger than my thighs. I was playing, and a big, beefy Icelandic look about him, and his name was Ivan. And he came from Eastern, and I thought, I'm not going to argue with this guy, whatever happens. But he was a lovely guy, really excited about the whole thing. It was great playing him, and he had orcs, and he had the bully boy orcs, and I thought, yeah, that's right up your street. That's about right. And I can tell you, they're horrible. They, I was killing them, but those for those 2 rounds, the mega knobs with everybody else and the 4-up feel no pain and the 5-up invulnerable and things, just hideous, hideous. I can't remember. I didn't make a note of any of my scores, and I've had trouble getting onto BCP, Alex, to try and find out what I scored, but pretty sure I lost that one as well.
Yeah.
But it was a good game. I don't. What else to say? You know, he had trucks, he had mega knobs, he had the knobs in the trucks. Was there anything in that game that was unexpected? Really, not really. I mean, I was taking off all of his little stuff. Anything that was the Silent King's indirect fire was just murdering his Gretchen and his Orc boys who were standing on objectives. But then again, they make them sticky, so it doesn't matter. And he can screen out all my movement at the back. So I got smaller and smaller amounts of table to play in as they just came towards me. And these aren't the green tide. These are just bully
These are the
boys.
guys that can wire twice, right?
Yeah. So only the knobs can mega knobs, warlords can wire twice. And to be honest, everybody goes on about the mega knobs being awesome. They are during the war, but when the war's not on, they're a bit like Terminators with a 4-up, a 5-up invulnerable, and a 2-up save. You can do them, but during the war, they're +1 strength, +1 attack, +1 this, that, and the other. A 4-up feel no pain.
Yeah.
And they can do it for 2 turns. So the ideal thing for him, and he didn't do this, would be to rapid ingress something. Thank you very much, and then say ha ha, wah, and then go have 2 turns running around in my back lines with his units going burlesque.
Yeah, I suppose it's an army that those 2 turns are crucial. So if those 2 turns go wrong, either by luck or by opponent mitigating it, then you're in trouble. Because then you're going to start being killed. But if those 2 turns work as planned, then
if they're turns 2 and 3 or 3 and 4, you're pretty well stuffed, to be honest. I mean, it's a good list. I mean, it's a good army, and I didn't really have an answer to it. And as a team, we got even worse in that game. That round, we only got 31 points, which ain't good.
The guys who write the rules need it or anything. But it was quite interesting that when the guy said what he did, I said, "Oh well, I guess we won't need a judge then. If we've got any rules questions, I'm just going to have to go." You don't know.
If I'd have known, I'd have written down a list of questions I've got and I'd have given them to you. Oh gosh! All right, mate. The next one, game 3. We're fighting a team called Silky Bolt Gun, which sounds far too kinky for me. Steve would love it.
Yeah.
I got a guy. I'll do mine first this time. I got a guy called Matt. What was he using? I've written it down here.
It'll be on your tabletop tactics thing, won't it? Your scoring log.
Won't it?
Yeah.
In my little kinky black bag.
Yes, there you go. See,
why didn't you say that to me? I've had a busy day this morning. I've had a hectic day. I've had to walk the dog in the rain. I've come back just in time to do this. I've told my kids to shut up and not make a noise while I'm doing this. But I don't know if that's going to help.
They won't be out of bed yet, will they? It's a bit early.
Well, barely. How do I look at different games?
I presume you created an event to log your scores so it keeps them in one grouping.
I don't even know how to do that. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, we ought to have a podcast on how to use bloody UKTC shit. Stats. Is stats a thing? Oh, I don't want to look at that. No, I don't know what that is.
No, don't look at that.
No.
Go on games. Games, that's what you want.
Games, do I? There they are. Haha, right, yes. So I played Ivan and I lost 69-94. So again, I scored some points. I think I got 6 points for that. So that wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
And then I fought Matt. And Matt, game 3.
I feel we should put some context behind Team Silky Bolt Gun.
Please do.
If I remember correctly, the guy you played, that was his second event.
Yes.
And the rest of them had never been to an event before.
Yes, but they
explain
had...
why we were playing them on 0-2.
Yeah, but they had all the armies, didn't they?
Of course, yeah.
Again, they had all the armies. Well, just as a spoiler alert, I lost this one, but by 1 point, 93 to 92.
Oof.
So
That's close.
That could have gone either way. And it was a really good, it was Tyranids invasion fleet. And as I remember it, it really was just a grind of me killing things because the bloody things kept coming back. And it was a nightmare. And there's a theme here. The amount of armies I fought over the weekend that kept coming back. Gene Stealer cults, Necrons, bloody these.
I knew you were using Necrons, weren't you?
I was, but mine didn't seem to come back as well as anybody else. Anyway, I fought this guy. He had the invasion fleet, and he had lots of gargoyles. I don't know what.
Lots of gargoyles. Brilliant.
Lots of gargoyles. Thank you. Lots of gargoyles. He had, well, I was quite surprised, a couple of units of Hormigants, 20-man Hormigant units, and they were getting 6 or 8 of these things back every turn when I was trying to get them off objectives, and they just sat on objectives. They were really quite annoying. The rest of his list was big monsters. Yeah, it was. I could kill it. And I did kill it. Unfortunately, again, he was sitting on the objectives and I couldn't get these. I've got nothing to get the Tyranids out of the objectives once they're on them. I can shoot the big ones. The little ones just hide.
That's what races are for, baby.
Yeah, they won't get them out there. They're rubbish in combat.
Yeah, but they'll out-OC them, won't they, in theory?
Yeah, well, possibly. Although I was looking at the Obeisance Phalanx this morning, which is another detachment. The Obeisance Phalanx, which is rubbish.
They're all fat.
Not the obesity phalanx, but that would be that. Oh, I'd love to have an obesity phalanx.
This is overfed Necrons.
I'd love to see that. Hello.
My name's Neville the Necron.
But they've got a strat that you put on a unit in the command phase, and it gives each one of their models +1 or +2 OC. That would be great. Can you imagine? I've got 5 little jump pack guys, Triarch Praetorians, worth 1 CP each. They go in their turn, boing, 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 jump on an objective and go, if I get to within inch of you, I'm not even going to fight you. I'm just going to stand here and go,
mine.
Yeah. If you want it, come and get it. So I thought that was quite... Anyway, so I lost it, but 92, 93, that could have gone either way. So a draw, 10 each.
Oh,
what about you?
I think if you get 92 or 93 and you don't win, then there's... I would bracket that in the category of there's not much more you could have done, to be honest.
Yeah, you've scored the points. It's just the other guys managed to... I don't know. I mean, again, the first game against the Votan, don't know how I lost it. The second game against the Orcs, I just couldn't kill enough of them. Third game against this guy with his Tyranids, I think I did all the right things and just missed out by that much. Like you have in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
What did you fight round 3, bud?
Oh, my third game. I got paired into Eldar again.
Oh, lovely. Oh, yeah. Is Neil trying to
keep me?
Is Neil doing this on purpose to you?
I don't know. Maybe I set him on the Friday night or something. I don't know. Maybe I need to question our friendship.
Talk us through it real quick. How'd you get on?
Well, so this is where I was going to touch on in round 3, where we go, maybe all the lists were the same or the core of them were the same throughout, whether you're at the top or the bottom. It comes down to player skill. This, bearing in mind that the chap hadn't been to an event before.
Yeah. And
he had an Eldar list that was, I would say, considerably suboptimal.
Yeah.
It had an avatar. It had some guardians. Like units that you'd think, okay. It's a bloody hard game. Such a hard game. Why?
I'll tell you why. And you put your finger on this last time when you said it was consistent. It could do things consistently and reliably. So even if you haven't been to very many competitions, you don't really know what you're doing. You do know that if you shoot this at that, you're probably going to do what you expect to do to it. Whereas the rest of us are going, shit, if I roll these dice, I bloody well hope I get a few 5s and 6s. You know?
Yeah. Whereas the Eldar, like, I'll get something. It's fine.
Yeah. What was the score?
So I managed to win this one, 96 to 71.
Right. Good.
I did get the one in the end, but I have to say, halfway through, I was thinking, dear God, not again. But yeah, did manage to put it around. But it was a good game. Really nice guy.
Was there anything in his list that sort of stuck out as either different or that was really doing the business for him?
Similar as before, really. It was everything is just consistently good.
Yeah.
Some Dire Avengers and the Exarch or the Phoenix Lord was in there. He one-shotted my captain.
Not Fugan.
No, Azuriman or whatever his name is. Who's the Phoenix Lord for the
for the Falcon, the flying.
Nope, the like Guardians but a little bit better.
Avengers.
Yes.
God, I can't
Possibly.
remember.
I don't know, wherever they are. The Guardian ones that are a bit better. So they got the Shuriken catapults and the Phoenix Lord. He one-shot the captain, which I didn't see coming, to be fair. Considering the captain's got T6, 3 up, 4 up invuln, halves all incoming damage. And I thought, because he charged in with them, and I was like, these guys are not really made for combat, so you've charged them aggressors, which is a bold play.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then of course he one-shot my captain, so then I lost my tome because he's carrying the book.
You don't get it.
What the hell's going on here? So that was challenging. But yeah, other than that, it's like everything was just consistently good. Even units that you'd think, well, we don't see Guardians, or you don't really see an Avatar. It's just like yeah. Tough.
Well, tell us about your next game then, the fourth game. What did you get on? What did you get on that?
Well, so hold on. So we won that round, didn't we? I believe
we did. We won it, but with 75.
That's a pretty good round, that. But considering we've been going to tournaments for 20 plus 25, a long time.
Long time.
You would like to think we would do something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm looking down my results, the scores, and you know what? Except for the first game, which I lost 85-50, not bad. There's a 92-93. The one I'm going to talk about in a minute, I lost 62-85, and the last game was 80-72. They're all there. It's not far off, and this is what we're talking about earlier. I'm taking a list that you guys have told me is not optimal, and I don't get to practice with it. I think if I fixed one of those that are close here, I would be the other way round.
I think so. I think, I suppose maybe we'll do a recap at the end, but I would say the biggest concern for me I had going into this event was that everyone was still chopping and changing their list right up to list submission. And you can guarantee that a lot of teams have gone, right, we're going to take this, and they decided it months ago.
Yeah.
So how many reps have they got with that army? Like,
yeah, I get it. So tell us about your fourth one. Unless you want me to go first, I'm easy.
Well, I can go first because it'll be very quick. Fourth one, I got paired into Space Wolves, and I'd kind of seen them done well in some events, and I wasn't quite sure why.
Oh, this was that. Yes, you were on the table next to me.
Yeah. Well, after the guide explained what was listed, I went, oh, well, this would be super, super quick. And I think I was it to all but to all but a handful of guys. I think I was tabled by turn 3.
Oh, you'd gone. I turned around when I was still setting up, and you were walking away from the table.
Yeah. Well, it was just like bloody hell. I mean, he's got a unit, right? So it was Space Wolves using the Storm Knights detachment. So they have an enhancement you can give to a character which lets you treat the turn is one less, or one more. No, one more for purposes reserves. So effectively you can come on turn 1.
Yeah. So
I get first turn, do some stuff. Next thing I know, I've got 6 Thunderwolves, Wolfguard Battle Leader, and Logan Gremnar have popped up 9 inches from me going, hey!
Did they
rapid them now?
Did he rapid ingress them, or did he just turn up?
He rapid ingress them from the table edge, but
Can you rapid ingress on the first turn?
Only with this enhancement, which of course the Battle Leader's got with the Thunderwolves and Logan. So this big brick of death just appears turn 1, 9 inches away from you, and goes, "Hey, you're not even going to get a chance to shoot it, really. Okay, maybe you'll get a chance to shoot some Hellblast into it. Oh, I've killed 2 Thunderwolves. Hey!"
Yeah. That's not, and that was, were they the ones running down the table edge at my side of the table that I kept on looking over and your army was just disappearing in front of them?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yes,
well, shall we skip over this game and we won't even ask what the score was, shall we?
Well, I got 41 points, and he got 95. It was not good.
Yeah, in team score, that's not good because I think
I kept going like, "Can I get to 50? Can I get to 50?" Nope, I've run out of army.
Well, and for anybody who's interested, if you get to 50, you can you get a point because it would end up essentially being a kind of 11-9 or a 10-10 or whatever. So that kind of thing. Oh, it'd be a 19-1. Sorry.
It would, yeah.
So, well, nice try.
Anything but a 20-0.
Well, don't worry about it, mate. I fought Gene Stealer cults. A, I have no idea what Gene Stealer cults do. And B, they are bent as buggery. Honestly. He got this list and he said to me before the game started, he says, "Look, I've not got a normal Gene Stealer cult list. I've got a close combat Gene Stealer cult list. So I've got 3 trucks of aberrants and they're really nasty in close combat." Yes, they are. And they're almost impossible to kill with a 4-up bloody feel no pain. They got no save, but they got a 4-up feel no pain, and it's hideous. Anyway, so he infiltrated 3 units of normal Gene Stealers, and I thought it was going to go well. He got first turn. 5 of them came flooding across the table to hit my flayed ones, and I'm thinking 5 Gene Stealers charging 5 flayed ones with a 4-up save, toughness 4. I'm dead. Anyway, he killed 2 of them. And my 3 remaining ones proceeded to butcher the Gene Stealer cults with their 15 sustained hits. It was just, we're both looking at each other going, that really shouldn't happen. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm thinking, this is going to go my way. And then I managed to shoot a truck and I'm thinking, yeah, I've stopped him moving. And then this is where things went wrong. He's got these little guys, saboteurs with bombs, right? So I've come out with my monolith and my Silent King, and I'm just laying down fire, bomb, 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 and I'm killing things left, right, and centre. Saboteur, little man with a bomb, turns out, throws it at the Silent King. There's about 8 mortal wounds. Then his mate falls in, 8 mortal wounds, or 7, or whatever it was. Then I'm thinking, that's it. Oh, no, that's the one-use only bomb. They've got other bombs that they can throw every turn. So then they throw another bomb and do about 5 more mortal wounds at it. I'm thinking, just bugger, leave me alone, will you? Oh, then we're going to shoot something. And anyway, they along with a couple of other little things, they killed the Silent King in 1 round. It was like, I just do not know how that happened. Anyway, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be halfway through the game. The game ended 85-62, so only 13 in it. And I think I got an 8 for that. It was a 12-8. So,
yeah. I presume you lost that round.
I did, and it's just about not knowing what the lists do.
As a team, did we lose that round?
That one we scored 7.
Excellent.
So far we've gone 38, 31, 75, 37.
So
let's hope
3 pumpings and a.
Let's hope that the last game we can do something. The last round. So, heading into the last round, Alex, what you got? What have you got? What are you facing?
I have the privilege of playing the new Custodes.
Oh, the new ones.
Yeah, which I was quite happy into because I could pretty much shoot them off the table before, and now they're a lot more.
You've also played them against me a couple of times, so you have a half an idea of how they work.
Yes, which helped immensely. Yeah, so I think, our game was done kind of turn. To be first 2 turns are kind of cagey, but our game was done turn 3. So I killed one of his warden blocks, both of his tanks, and then he had a unit of custodian guards sat on the same objective, and 2 units of wardens that were like, well, at the moment I come out, I've got an entire Deathwatch army shooting me.
Yeah. Did he play it like the old Custodes? Because the new ones are a lot more punchy, but a little bit more. They're not fragile by any stretch, but they're a little bit more vulnerable than they used to be. And I don't think you can play it like they used to, which is, I've got 5 wards. I'm going to sit on this objective and I'm not going to move, because I don't think that's going to work anymore.
Yeah, no, he didn't. To be fair, he almost played it 2 kg, so his primary score was quite low. There were a couple of times where he could have maybe stuck one guy out onto the objective and stickied it, and then there's no way I'd kill the whole unit in one activation, so he would have lost a guy or two, but would have stickied the objective. But no, it's more like, I think the biggest mistake he made is he came at me piecemeal. So like one Warden block came out and the other 2 stayed hidden. So I'm like, well, it takes most of my army to kill a Warden block because they're still tough. They still get feel no pain 4+ once per game, and it's -1 to wound them if you're strength higher than their toughness. Yeah. So if he'd run all 3 Warden block out, I think I'd have been like, ooh, hey. But because he ran 1 out, I could focus pretty much everything onto that. And by the way, anti-infantry 2+ Inceptors, pretty clutch into Custodes, as it turns out.
no shit, Sherlock, I think is the response to that.
Yeah. To the point where they kind of annihilated these Wardens. Then I had 6 plasma Inceptors left over. I was like, wow, we'll try some cheeky shots into that tank. Oh, that's dead. So yeah. I got like a bonus tank kit as well. So at that point, if you're going to run out with 2 blocks of Wardens, well, one turn I'm going to pick on one, next turn I'm going to pick on the other, and then it's curtains really. But they're definitely not as, they're punchy, but you've got to get there. Okay, they've got advance and charge, but then
they're good.
But like you say, you either then go and sit on objectives and you get shot and you don't have the durability you did have, or you stay behind cover with your threat range, because they got 6 with the Blade Champion. They can advance and charge, reroll the charge, so their actual threat range is pretty good, and they're quite punchy.
Yeah, but they need something to sit on the objective, don't they, as well? So,
exactly.
So you need a unit of girls. What are they called? The Custodes girls.
Yeah, he had a couple of units of those, but the Hellblasters just
ripped through.
Right, okay, you run the objective. I'll split fire. That's 2 units of them dead. Right.
So I'm assuming you won that one then.
I did. I won 83-54.
Oh, good man.
To be honest, when Ian was watching the game, I think once he'd lost the Wardens in the 2 tanks on one turn, his head just went dropped, and that was the end of that really.
Ian said that. Ian said he thought the guy had lost it by the time it got halfway through the game.
Yeah, he had.
Well, I had Tyranids again. Lovely painted one. This was bright green, yellow highlight. It looked great. And this had lots of monsters. I mean, lots of monsters. He must have had 6 big ones and then a couple of medium-sized ones. And there was a lot of it. And I thought, if he gets into me, I'm going to be in serious trouble here. I won in the end, 80-72. The only game I won the entire weekend, the last game. It just helped a little bit. But the reason it won is because I was able to move my monoliths and my Sonic King around and just, like you did a bit, Alex, shoot at a unit until it was dead. And when I needed to kill something, I just rolled really well, which really helped.
Yeah,
I was saying to you, I was saying to you before we started recording this, he had, I can't remember what it's called, but it's one of the burrowing monsters.
The triangle.
Yeah, I think so. And it arrived 9 inches away in my deployment zone because he got fixed. He had behind enemy lines and engage, I think it was, on all fronts. And this thing just popped up, and my monolith in my shooting turn, because was it rapid ingress? Yeah, he rapid ingressed it in my turn, so I could shoot it immediately because it was just 9 inches away. And I'm thinking he's thinking, oh, he won't kill this monster. I'm thinking, depends what I roll. It's not consistent, but you never know. And I rolled my dice with the death rays. Now the death rays are strength 12 -4 d6 +1 damage, and the kinky thing is they get 1 shot each, but their sustained hits 3. D3, I mean. So I rolled my dice. I rolled 2 6s. Then I rolled a 3 and a 5 and a 3. So I got another five hits. So I've got in total nine hits on this poor thing. And I said, it's minus 4. He said, I don't get a save. Haven't you got any vulnerable? No. Oh dear. How much damage?
34 wounds.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember how many there were, but I remember I rolled a lot of dice, and there were a lot of spots on them. And I was like, ooh, there you go. So yeah, and it happened a couple of times with these big monsters. I just was able to move all the way into a corner over here with the Silent King and do flat 6 damage with the menhirs. Then I could drop in over here, and it was just picking off the big monsters. A couple of turn. And he scored points because he was able to. He's got buy a vor gun, bloody little mine thing. Can you do behind enemy lines with that? Yeah, I can do it. Really? So he can shoot a little thing into my quarter and get behind enemy lines with it.
Yep.
And engage on all fronts.
Now, interestingly, they stopped that because they used to be able to do that in 9th, I think. And they specifically came out and FAQ'd it and said you couldn't do it.
Yeah, well,
I think everyone's been waiting for it for Tyranids for 10th, but it just never seems to happen. So you have this, 60-point Bible that goes, where can I put my 25mm base? Well, damned if you're screening that out, so I'll just put it anywhere I want. And
that's exactly what happened. And that's why he was consistently scoring his fixed secondaries.
Yeah.
And the only reason I won at the end, because I think it would have been a draw, is because I deep struck in a monolith 3 inches away from his back end, and he had a monster of some kind, I don't know which one it was, sitting on his home objective, and I had overwhelming force, so I had to kill something on an objective, and by then I'd controlled all the other objectives. He wasn't on any of them, so this was it. And I deep struck it in, and I'm thinking, shall I split fire? Because I want to kill that Biovore. I don't want him to get behind enemy lines in the last turn because he's going last. And so eventually I did. I said, right, I'm going to fire the death rays at that thing on the objective, and I'm going to fire my particle whip at him. And I threw my dice for the death rays, 3 6s and a 3. And I don't know how many wounds I did again, but it just evaporated in a puff of green smoke, And so I got that point. He didn't hold his own in the last turn because I buggered it up. Yeah, so I managed to pull it out the bag. Good. Right. Lessons learned for me. For me, the lesson learned is don't take a list that is not going to win. Even when your mates say, you know what, Michael, that's not a competitive list. I go, I know it's not, but I'm going to win with it anyway. I am talking out of my bum.
Is this the moment? Is this the moment where that's
what I want to do, Alex? I mean, what I'm going to do, dear listener and Alex, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a list that's doing well, one of the Canoptic Court lists maybe, or another Hypercrit list, and I'm going to look at it. And I'm probably going to change 1 or 2 units out of it that aren't the critical, game-winning ones, just to give it a bit of flavour and see if I can make that work. So it'll work like the competitive players, but maybe with a little bit of Michael Bolton juice on it.
I mean, I think that's that's got to be the way, right? Because let's think about this logically. Unless we are going to spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours practicing, tweaking, why not let all the other nerds out there that are already doing this for us and then go, okay, so what Necron list is Josh using? He's going to tweak the living shit out of that.
I know. But I get that, and you're absolutely right. There is nothing wrong in anything you've said. But from a gaming point of view, what that means is that there will be detachments that nobody ever uses because everybody will do what you and I are suggesting, and they'll look at the people who are using the very few top ones, and there will be combinations in some of those other detachments now that people never explore, and that. And you can't, if we can't spot the good ones without practice, then we're not going to spot the bad ones. So there's no reason why there's stuff out there that you're not going to see.
I don't know. Do you not think like your top boys are going to have looked at every detachment in the Space Marine Codex, for example, and gone, yeah, that one sucks. That one sucks. That one sucks. This one works. this one probably works. This one works. We'll take these three. Do you not think they would have looked at them? Because if
of course they will.
first company detachment was going to have any sort of life in it, it would be being used, and I've not seen one ever take it. But
I hear what you say, but if I want to win 3 games or 4 games, I don't have to do the top lists.
You don't have to copy it precisely. I mean, do what you say. Take the. Let's say Josh, for example. So Josh is won what he won every game 20-0 or something.
Yeah, he got 100. He didn't drop a point,
and he's won his last 5 tournaments without dropping a point. So it's fair to say he knows what he's doing.
I'd say, yeah.
Fair to say this is pretty tasty. So you could take his list and go, okay, look, I'm not trying to be Josh. I don't have the knowledge of other armies that Josh has. I don't have the skill that Josh has. Let's be honest. But so I'm going to maybe take 2 units of Wraith, and with 350 points I save, I quite like these little blue jumpy guys. So I'm going to take some of them. They're not the optimal choice, but they're not shit. Like, they're not going to sort of swing you from winning a game to losing a game terribly. So
yeah, I think that's what you need to do. I'm still tempted to go with one of the detachments that nobody ever uses.
But I think that's your just for you. I think your problem is you swing too far the other way. Because I can totally understand not wanting to copy Josh's list, for example. But to then go, well, I'm not going to take any Wraiths because Josh takes 3 units.
Yeah, no.
It's like it swings it too far the other way. So you're like, well, hold on. Now I'm just deliberately hurting myself.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that. I'm just looking. As I said, I'm looking at the Obeisance Legion detachment or Legion, whatever it's called. Nobody ever uses it because the only thing it does is its special detachment rule is you pick an enemy unit at the beginning of your command phase, and everybody against that gets +1 to wound. That's it. That's the. Now, that's not bad if you just want to kill that in that turn and then that in that turn. It's the other bits that have to work, and unfortunately, the only bits it applies, and this is where Games Workshop get it wrong. They've applied it to the only people that can benefit from it are Lords, Dark Units, and Lich Guard. That's it. Well, guess what? None of the epic characters carry the Overlord So even though you'd imagine that the Silent King is an Overlord, no, he doesn't get that.
Does he not?
No, Imatech doesn't get it. No, he doesn't get it.
Okay.
And there's a few things just like that that are just this far away from making that detachment pretty good, And even if you put an epic character, you put Imatech in a unit of Lich Guard, he gives them nothing. But you put an Overlord with them, they get all of the detachment bonuses and everything else. Well, why isn't Imatech an Overlord? He's a fucking big Overlord. He's not as if he's not the ice cream salesman coming around the corner, is he? He's a ding dong, ding dong, ding ding ding.
Yeah, I don't know. The reality is there are just some detachments that are no good. I mean,
they are.
Speak to a Custodes player and ask them.
Yeah, I think that's getting. I'm not entirely sure they're as bad as people think. I just think it's a really different. You've got to change your mindset and play them in an entirely different way, and that's difficult.
I think they're in a tough spot. Custodes.
I do too. All right, Alex, what are your learnings? What have you learnt from that weekend?
My learnings are that the same as learnings previously. We don't know the other armies well enough.
Yeah, that's very true.
And it would seem we've not put any effort into learning the other armies. So how do we change that?
Well,
without a concerted effort to sit down and go, right, I'm going to study Votan, or I'm going to study.
It's not just other armies, though. It's detachments within armies. Now, there wasn't long ago you could buy every codex and have about 8 or 9, and that was it. Now, I don't know how many codexes there are, but there's lots. And then it's not only learning one army. How many detachments is the Chaos Space Marines has come out with 8 new detachments in it. There's no way on God's earth I'm going to know what that does when my opponent says, "Ha my Warp Talons are going to use this particular stratagem." I'm going to go.
Yeah, I mean, chances are that you're going to have to learn 2, right?
Yeah,
2 or 3. 6 of them be tied. So, I mean, out of the Space Marine detachments, how many did you see? Ironstorm, Vanguard.
Yeah, but leading on to something else. we don't know what's going to happen when they change all the mission play rules, do we?
We don't.
Because the Leviathan season is over and they're heading towards the Pariah Nexus.
Which comes out...
I don't know.
Okay.
I just want to speak like this.
I just wondered if they'll be out before the Sheffield GT.
No, I need to buy my ticket for that.
Are you coming?
I'd like to.
That's good.
I'm definitely doing the glass. Okay. We're still recording. So, listeners, I'm going to be at the Glasshammer GT, which is at the same event, at the same location, the same venue in Birmingham as the ITT was last weekend. By then, hopefully these guys will have beaten some sense into me and told me to take a sensible list. So I shall take it. It will feel boring and dull, but I might win 2 or 3 games, which will be excellent.
That'll feel good.
I will feel good, yeah. Feel higher as a kite. And then I've booked what's the other one we're going to? The Coventry GT. I'm doing that one.
That's in October, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm doing that. I want to go to London. I'm just going to save up for that. That'll be good. Anybody who wants to donate cash to me, by the way, if you're listening, then I'll find a way for you to get it to me. Just let me know.
Do you start an OnlyFans? I know, GoFundMe, sorry, not an OnlyFans.
No, I'll do an OnlyFans if it gets me money. That'll be fine.
It won't.
No, it probably won't. No. Anyway, all right. I'm just having a moment there thinking about OnlyFans. Alex, anything else to say before we sign off and I do some sort of closing arrangement when you've gone home and had a cup of tea?
No, just it'll be interesting what the new missions are. Hopefully they'll be out for Sheffield. I'm not doing Glasshammer because I should be on a beach. Hopefully,
yeah, I know.
And then then it feels like we've got a bit of a break, haven't we? We've got
August
July.
is quiet at the moment. It's a holiday, but
Yeah.
again, it's school holiday. I'll be off. Well, we could arrange to do some games. Wouldn't be a problem.
Maybe we could have a little CSM summer get together.
Oh, a little private party.
Yeah,
we're talking about
party.
We're talking about OnlyFans again.
No, we're talking about in my basement, so I'll win.
Oh, it is OnlyFans in your basement. Yes. Well, here's something for you listeners. Whenever we play at Alex's house, his dice are on fire and he always wins. When he gets to competitions, not so much.
They go average. I mean, who wants average?
I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so only thing to talk about is the organisation went well. It was a little loud, but you can't expect anything other than that in a sports hall with 350 people. The organisation was good. BCP worked sweet as a nut. The guys who you thought was going to win did win. It was close, but you knew the top 3 or 4 teams, and they were all there at the end. So whatever system is in place is working because those people certainly deserve to be there. I don't think there were any massive FA Cup surprises. I don't think there was anything like that. And that's it. Our team enjoyed ourselves. We had a great social night on the Sunday, knowing that we didn't have to get up on the Monday, and that was fun. We played pool, which I hadn't played for 20 years, and managed to pocket a few balls, which was quite amazing to everybody.
Yeah. And Ian with his shark fin.
Ian, yeah,
that managed to be pretty handy with a cube.
He's played before, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's played before.
Yeah, he has. So that was good. And then we all drove home on the following morning. So, it's a long weekend, but it was a bank holiday weekend. We saw each other, and we're all from all over the country. We've got people from Yeovil to Blackburn to North Yorkshire to Nottingham and the Midlands. So actually getting together in Birmingham is about as good as it gets.
Yeah, it was a good weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And I'm glad I made it. So thank you very much, Alex, for being team captain. I know we had a coach, but in my mind, you're the team captain. Neil is the coach. Okay. So you're the director of football. He's the coach.
I'll take that. I don't think Neil would, but I'll take that.
All right. Thank you very much, mate. Don't hang up. We need you not to hang up, and I will talk to you in a minute. Don't do it. Don't do it. Mate. So, not a fabulous result for me, winning 1 out of 5. However, other than one game, all the scores were within about 12 or 13 points. So it's not that far off. And I suspect that at the end of the day, it's a skill issue. when we look at the lists that the other guys were playing, whether you're at the top tables or the bottom tables, it's a team tournament. People will have spent weeks or months putting together their armies. They will have the best armies they could possibly have. And we fought the same armies at the top tables as we did from teams at the bottom tables. So at the end of the day, if you're losing games, you can't really blame your list. Must be skill. Having said that, I'm going to change mine. Some of us, Neil and myself, are off to the Glasshammer Super Major GT next month. It's at the same location in Birmingham, which means I can stay at home. I don't have to stay in a hotel. So we may well do that. Save a bit of money, drive backwards and forwards. I'm only half an hour away. And play some games. I'm going to change my list. I've decided that 2 monoliths and the Silent King are just too expensive. And I'm going to go for something a little bit different. And I'm looking at the moment at an Awakened Dynasty list. So instead of all the Canoptic Court, which everybody seems to use, and Josh Roberts is using to win everything he goes to, or the Hypercrypt bouncy uppy downy, I've decided that I'm going to use the Awakened Dynasty, which is basically the Index Codex. It's a toolbox of tricks that basically has a bit of everything in it. So that's what I'm going for. And we'll see what happens with that. Might mean I'll have to paint a few extra figures, which will get in the way of painting my orcs, so I'm not particularly happy about that. Nevertheless, I think that is going to be everything. So I will be back in a week or two with some more information. And in the meantime, see you on the ice.